Welcome to the part 4 of user registration. We are going through this process thoroughly. We are using security and checks for our username and password, which is really good. If I am being confusing, please let me know. Drop an email or a comment through YouTube. Getting into registering our user process, we need to connect our database first. We are going to open our table and input our values. You might think this is very simple. So first of all, I am going to write a message saying success. Back to our page, I'll just go back into this and check all our checks that we had created first. So I will click register and it says please fill in all the fields. If I fill a variety of fields, then forget and click register. It's still saying a message. So I'm going to type Alex and I'm going to choose my username. Then type my full name and I'm going to choose a password which is ABC. The next one I will just type a mix of characters. So when I click register, it should say your password does not match. So go back to square one. We are going to type Alex Garrett. We will choose a username. We are going to choose a password, say ABC. Since this is under 6 characters, when I click register, passwords must be between 25 and 6 characters. So that check works. Now what I will type is my full name as Alex Garrett and my username as Alex. The password is going to be just a full length password. More than 6 characters, I will click register. You can see that length of the username or full name is too long. So you can write these checks if you want. I will leave it up to you. So at the moment we have now got a successful form validation. Now what we will do is continue with registering our user. Now this form validation isn't good. Every time we get an error, these fields disappear, they are gone and the user has to retype. So what I am going to say is we have got our full name, username and password variables here. Considering this PHP page itself, we can incorporate PHP into this HTML code over here. Under your full name, I'm going to say value equal to a value inside the box and open up a PHP tag. Close the PHP tag inside. Here I'm going to echo username or rather full name. I will do exactly the same with our username. So value equals open PHP tag, close PHP tag and echo out username. Make sure that line terminator is in there. Now what will happen is, let's say I choose this ridiculously long name here and I choose a username, say Alex. If you don't want your passwords to be stored, so just leave that up to the user. I've got a too long username. It should produce this error again. When I click register, this time it's kept our full name and username. So it's a rule. If you get an error and you have to retype your username, your full name, your password, or your first name, middle name, your surname, I don't know how many fields are there in your user form. It's annoying to type your name over and over again. So using this, your PHP echo inside PHP tags, inside the values of your HTML input type, and it is so useful and so much more convenient for the user and much more user friendly. Okay, otherwise echo success. I have not actually given a successful form yet. So I will type Alex Garrett and my password is going to be over 6 characters and under 25 characters. Click register. Oh, an error message. Let's see. We have picked up an error, and if the string length of the password is greater than 25 or the string length of the password is lesser than 6, echo password should be enough. But we have to run into the same problem. I have just realized that we have an encrypted value for our password and our MD5 encrypt string is massive. It's much bigger than 25 characters. So again, what I have to do is take this block of code that has been encrypted our page, cut out that and bring it down underneath register the user. So you can see from experience that ordering of things are very important. If you get errors like this, go through your code, look at them and realize what are you doing. Use your echo things out in between your code just as short as debug process. Now I will go back to my form and I am going to retype my perfectly acceptable password in. Click on register. We have got our success message. So you see, going through your code helps to see if there are problems. I am a bit quick at realizing this, but sometimes I pause video. I have to look at the code and then resume the video. I don't like to keep the viewers on hold. So you too will soon realize your mistakes. So we have got our success and now we will say open our database. To do this we need to connect variable. No you don't. I am saying MySQL connect and I am connecting to my local host server which is my computer and the root and my password is nothing. I am going to say MySQL select DB. This is going to select our database. So let's say select database. Even though this is obvious, this is PHP login and here I am going to say give query. So query register is going to be equal to MySQL query. This is the important part of the tutorial where we actually input our values and we register our username. Now let me scroll down so you can see this is insert into user. If we go back to here, this is it. PHP login is our table that we have to select. So MySQL select DB PHP login and we are inserting two users which is our table into database and we will say values brackets each value of the table, so each field is present into the table. So if we go back to here and click on browse or structure, that one we got ID, name, username, password, date. So 1 2 3 4 5. Here also we need 1 2 3 4 5. The ID is auto increment if you know from the last tutorial. So we need in here the order is very important. We have got our name, username, password, date. So this is just name, username. This is password. No need to repeat password. That was just for check and this is going to be the date. So these variables here, if you are not so sure, are up from here where we have our full name, username, password and date. Let us change this to full name. Okay, so this should work. After this is done, I will say you have been registered. In fact, what I am going to do is I say die. You have been registered. Turn to login page. Put this as a link back to out index in which the user could log in. As you can see how it executes in a second, and here is my previous page. Let's say Alex Garrett, choosing username as Alex and this as your password. You have been registered. Return to login page. Now I will now check my database in browse. You can see that I have got Alex Garrett. My ID is 3, my username is Alex. My password is my encrypted password and my date is date. That's it. So in the next part I will show you how to tidy a few things out and test the login process. So I'll see you there. This is Siddharth dubbing for the spoken tutorial project.